right, so today we're going to be talking about chapter 2, which is really all about inequality. So specifically today in 2.1, we're going to talk about writing and graphing inequalities. Right? Writing and graphing inequalities. So our learning objective for today, we'll learn how to write an inequality and graph an inequality. So we're going to be talking about translating those English sentences into inequalities, and then we're going to talk about how we graph them specifically on a number line. So words we need to know. First one is inequality. In your own words, what is an inequality, Wyatt, in your own words? An expression that isn't necessarily always equal to each other, and it's either going to be what then what? Greater than or less than. Now we also have our greater than and equal to, so it could still possibly be equal to, but we're talking about expressions, which is a really good term, recalling from last time. So specifically, it's a mathematical sentence that compares expressions. So I love that you used expressions there, Wyatt, because that was what we talked about last chapter. So it's a mathematical sentence that compares. It's comparing one expression to another. Our other word, right? Oh, and the other part of it usually contains those signs. Greater than or less than, as Wyatt said. Also greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So when you see an inequality, it's going to have one of those four symbols. It will never have a straight equal sign because that makes it an equation. Our second word, solution of an inequality. What do you think solution of an inequality is, Caden? It's something that makes that inequality true. The value that makes that inequality true. Now, the thing about inequalities that is different than equations is there might be more than one value that makes it true. Actually, there's almost always going to be more than one value that makes it true. Whereas an equation, typically there's only one value that makes it true. So a value that makes the inequality true is a solution of an inequality. A couple other words, solution set. So this might be a new term for us. Solution set. And this is simply the set of all solutions of an inequality. So the solution to an inequality is a value that makes it true. A solution set is all those values, right? All those values of an inequality that make it true. And that's known as a solution set. Our fourth and final word is graph of an inequality. Levi, what do you think graph of an inequality is? Yeah, specifically a graph. And what was that key term on how that I used earlier when we talked about what it's going to be graphed on? Do you remember, Brooke, what I said? Number line. So it's the graph of an inequality on a number line. So it shows the solution set of the inequality on a number line. So it's going to show you all those values that make the inequality true, and it's going to show that through a number line, how that looks. And we're going to talk about how to create that, as well as how to look at it and tell what the inequality is. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So again, graph of an inequality shows the solution set of the inequality on the number line. These are vocabulary words you're going to hear throughout the chapter, so make sure we're starting to familiarize ourselves with it. Alright, so let's move on. So writing inequality. So this is very similar to translating expressions, but now we're going to have an inequality symbol involved with it. So a four-step approach with this. First step, read the problem. Sounds familiar, right? Just like how we translate expressions, just how we worked on our application word problem. We read the problem first. Step 2, identify the keywords and the inequality symbol. So now keywords are important, but so is the inequality symbol that they're talking about. We've got to identify both of those things now, right? And there might be more than one keyword. Third thing, choose a variable if needed. Sometimes they give us the variables we've learned. Sometimes they don't, so you get to be an artiste and choose what variable that you like, right, Austin? Austin's an X-man, but no pun intended. Step 4, write the inequality. So now, once we've identified the keywords, what inequality symbol they're telling us, we've chosen a variable if we needed to, then we write that inequality. and what it will look like. So those are our 4 steps, pretty similar to translating expressions, pretty similar to application word problems. So let's do a few. So first one, a number W minus 3.5 is less than or equal to negative 2. So when I look at this, I'm saying, all right, what are my key words and what is the inequality symbol that they're telling me? Well, here's keyword of number W, all right, that's a key word right there that I'm recognizing, so there's my variable. I'm not going to have to assign one. Got another keyword here of minus. That symbol is a, what symbol is that, Karen? Yeah, negative or a subtraction symbol, right? So I've got a subtraction symbol, then I've got a number of 3.5, then it says less than. Boom, less than, that's important, that's our inequality symbol. So when I see that, I'm looking at that and going, all right, there's my inequality symbol, and less than looks like this. Faces away from what was going on. Because Pac-Man is going to eat the other side if it is less than. Or equal to, right? Or equal to, so a lot of people miss that. Right? Less than or equal to, so it's not just less than, but it also has an equal to sign underneath it. Right? So we got to catch those words. And then final value they gave us was negative 2. So right there, I've identified everything I think I need to identify at this point. Do I need to assign a variable in the third step? Nope, that's done for me. So final thing I do is write my inequality, which would be, according to this, W minus 3.5 is less than or equal to negative 2. Boom, done. So fairly simple process, right? Nothing overly complicated. So let's look at the second one. So second one says 3 is less than a number in plus 5. What's the first thing, Lane, that sticks out to you think is important? 3. So we've got a 3 right there. So I'm going to just put a little underline on it. 3. What's the next thing, Destiny, that stands out to you?
Less than.
Less than. So right there I've got a less than piece of information. So that's telling me that I need a less than symbol. And what does less than look like in this case? Is it going to face the 3 or is it going to face away from the 3? Face away, right? Pac-Man eats the other side. Right? What's the next piece of information, Cadence, that you see that you think is important? A number in, right? So they gave us a variable there. So I'm going to underline that so I recognize number in. And then last thing you see why you think is important?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. So I've got a plus 5 right here. All right? And what does plus mean? That means add, right? So pretty simple stuff we've gone through. So my final